What up? What up? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? New Year to everybody. Blessings, positivity, prosperity, whole nine like that. Well, blessed New Year anyway. Like, I hate to say Happy New Year. It comes off type repetitive, so I just prefer to say blessed New Year. The things that manifest to turn out for it. I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, this past year been spooky. It been kind of spooky. And here it is, it's not even a month yet that passed in this year. Hasn't even been a full month. And I hate to even come up here under these circumstances, but it's a personal thing. I feel like it's the least I could do, honestly, if anything, because I met this person on the internet. You understand? It's all I could do, really. Like, this person, actually, like, she's really the reminder that you can have genuine interactions with folk you never met in person. Didn't really want to believe it, but at the same time, the flow of things these last few months, I can't really say I doubted it when I even got the news hearing about it. Anybody that follow me know that I wasn't, anybody that follows me that wasn't around when I first popped up on this app obviously wouldn't even know the person I'm talking about. Some do, because I've seen some people leave like, damn, sorry to hear about that. That's crazy. That's wild. R.I.P. and all of that. Ironically enough, if it wasn't for her, nobody wouldn't even know me for real. Because I can about guarantee that there wouldn't be no realist here. Like, not at that time, nah. Why it seemed like it's just like a weary time right now. It seemed like the bad news is more frequent than the good news. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if I'm tripping. I don't know if I'm bugging the hell out. But it's like, damn, what way to start the new year? You know what I'm saying? Like, the last few months, like, just thinking, it's crazy. But man, I'm looking at my phone the other night and I get a message, and I don't even know if anybody. I'm sure some people probably got this feeling before. I had this strange, weird, dark, nervous feeling about this message I had got before I even read it. Like, before I even read the message, I had just got this feeling, but like everything kind of like stopped. You know what I mean? It's like it's similar to when you get that random call late night. You get a funny feeling when your phone ring late hours, because it's like, okay, this has to be something major. There's only two reasons your phone rings late night for the most part, especially for a man, right? It's either one, a booty call, or something happened to somebody passed away. You know what I'm saying? And it damn sure wasn't no booty call. And I prefer it had been. I'm being humorous, but I'm so serious. I'm so serious. Tamika, what's going on? Appreciate you. So I read it, and someone lets me know that, my sister Sakeena Jones had passed away. And that's a day one right there, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, so that explains the feeling I got. I couldn't describe it, but it was a reason I felt like that. All in all, you hear things, so you want to do your research to confirm. So I started looking into it, even though I had a voice in my head that was like, yo, don't be surprised if it's actually true, right? But I do my quick research and I find out it was true. I had a reason to have that feeling in the first place. And when I tell you, it was just like a body blow with damn brass knuckles. Sidebar, when you ain't heard from or seen somebody you respect or love in a minute, it ain't gonna hurt to do a quick checkup. I know as humans we're like stubborn and shit like that, so we be like, I ain't fucking with them, I ain't messing with them, the hell with them. We all got that one or two people. It's like, if they don't call me first, I ain't doing. It be like that. We humans, right? But I learned this past year, it's like that's the way the world seems to be right now. It's always, it always turns out to be a reason we haven't heard none from that person or seen anything from that person. You know what I'm saying? Marlene, appreciate you. So last time I seen sis, she came on live to know she was all right. She was good. Because folk was asking about her around that time. Crazy enough, she used to be on the app daily, often. You know, she slowed up due to life, life situations going on. She was like, the hell with the app, right? Personal issues. And even when she went live at that time, I didn't necessarily think that would be the last time I would see her go live. You understand? And that was sure enough about a month ago, I believe it was, somewhere around that time. Like a part of me felt like something was off about it. I can't even, you know, and that I just felt like something was off about it. But I didn't even want to harp on it because I was just glad to see it. I'm like, wow, this is the first time she went live in a minute. And even then, I didn't even get to chop it up with her the way I would have preferred. And looking back, obviously, I wish I would have been able to. Like I remember when I actually said this before. Some people could remember. I don't know. But I was like before, way before. I'm talking way before I was ever even considered a content creator, right? All YouTube was to me was music videos, and girl fights. Like that's it. That was my use for YouTube. That's a completely different time, right? I used to binge on girl fights. I used to just watch females whipping females' ass all day, for real. And this is pre-strict YouTube era. So this is a long time ago. You ain't gonna see that. You ain't gonna see that this day and age. I don't know. Yeah, but I would go through and surf for that type of stuff. Then one day, you know, I came across this lady who was talking about, I can't even remember what she was talking about. But it was her, you know, I sat there and I watched though. I watched her. It was, and I got this vibe from her. It's like her rawness, her realness, this authentic vibe I got from listening. And watching her, you could tell she was being herself, not trying to dress up a certain way or act a certain way to please nobody. I can tell, even though I didn't know her, that she was being her genuine self. You know, like it was just her natural. Here I am. I'm talking my ish. That's what you got from her. That's what you always got from her. You know what I'm saying? Bronze, what up, bro? Appreciate you. Appreciate you. She just came off sincere, like about the topic she was addressing. Then I seen she had other videos. So I started going through them. And I seen she hadn't even been on the app that long, only had a few videos of her talking about her family, her kids, her personal life, her life story. And she let it be known that she was a dialysis patient, right? She never hid that. She never hid that one time. She came on here saying that. She never hid her health issue at all. The type of stuff that other people might conceal, she actually let it be known. And that's one of the things I always respected about her. I admired her from the jump because of that. Even as wild as the app is, you know what I'm saying? So I ended up, going through her videos and I'm like, okay, I ended up finding videos of her responding to some people. At this time, this is completely new to me. I didn't know what that was about. I definitely didn't know at that time. Like I was like, who the hell is she talking to? Like she was giving them the business too. I'm like, oh wait, like who's she talking? I started following her, had me interested. I'm like, yo, who's this? And when I did that, I gradually found out that it was a such thing as a community of content creators. I knew no such thing when I first was on here. I didn't know there was an actual community of people who fraternize, interact and do content. I didn't know that. Watching her open the door to a whole new world for me, like literally, like specifically the dirty side that some of us know about or all know about, the beefing, the violating, the dissing folk, all that, which ain't content. Because you hear people say that. I repeat, it's not content. Like no matter how these fools try to label it, dress it up, like that ish these fools be doing on here, like swear up and down they be doing content. Like last time I checked, content is something that's actually constructive, right? Something you can gain something positive from, like financial gain, build a brand, business purposes. Teach folks a few damn things. You know what I mean? But regardless, I found out content creating was a thing. I didn't even know what that term really meant. I wasn't an internet person like that at that time. That's how I found myself in the dark side of the app. Like from jump, that's where I landed up at. From jump, I ain't had time to really understand where I was at or nothing. I just ended up there through following her, right? She already had ties to some people who basically led to other people who led to other people. You know what I mean? So I'm like, let me see what's going on here. Whole new world, boom. And that's when everything pretty much changed. And I can't even say for the better necessarily, right? Looking back on it, it is funny as hell. But at that time, it's like, wow. Seeing her interact with the camera on, like she stayed to the camera on. She didn't care. You know, people used to be trolling her, talking mad, crazy stuff. She didn't care about none of that. She wasn't phased. And if she was, she did a damn good job showing me she wasn't. Like with all these different people and situations that was going on, I was like, oh, they beefing over here. I started hearing the word doxing, and I started hearing it often too. I'm like, what does that mean? Right? Later on, I would find out by word of mouth and experience. You know, that whole first 2 years was a damn mess. I'm trying to tell you. But like one of the few people she was speaking on in her videos was this broad called Young Mellow. Oh my God. I don't even know if that lady's still around or not, but the drama behind that name left a memory I promise you I ain't gonna forget. So sis was trying to help this girl named Young Mellow stand up to folks. And I'm sure I know people heard me speak on this before, you know, but this is the entire story because it involves, you know, my sis, right? She was basically trying to help this girl, like defend her against this group of women and men, but it was majority women. Trying to help this girl stand up against these folk. They was on her ass. Yeah, it was crazy. She couldn't go live without them coming in, lighting her ass up in her own live, right? For the whole time she was live. You know, Sakeena, she was like me in a few ways, which is why I was drawn to her in the first place, obviously. She didn't care to see nobody get jumped or bullied, any of that. So she made it her mission to stick up for this mellow chick. And when I tell you she got heat from trying to help this woman, oh my God. Mm-mm. Man, she was built for it. I know she didn't expect it at first, but you know, she seen what it was and she didn't back down. Like the more and more I started learning about how ruthless and vicious like these apps and this internet thing can really be, you know. But I knew Sakeena's heart was in the right place. So I'm watching the hate she started getting from even mentioning this girl's name. Her mentioning her name in a positive light, that right there was enough for her to end up in the algorithm where all these different people started coming at her. It was crazy. It was crazy as hell. These folks was like a real life hate group, like who was well, online hate group, I guess you could say. And they was really trying to get Mellow off the internet. That's that's what their goal was. Like even me myself, I didn't understand. I'm like, yo, why was they coming at this girl like this? I started feeling bad for her. So I'm like, so let me get this right. These folks coming at this woman for no reason, and they coming at Sakeena for trying to be of help. That's basically what it is. It didn't sit right with me, because like I say, I have I told this story before too. I have a cousin who took his own life. YouTube don't strike me. Took his own life because of what he went through, you know, pertaining to bullying and all of that, right? The more I seen the situation go on, the more I felt I want to help. I want to do something. I don't like this. Mind you, somebody who never actually did an upload or anything, but I'm looking at this. I'm seeing it play out, and I'm like, yo, I don't like this right here. This ain't cool. I don't like this shit. Yo, jumping tag team and folks just to do it, huh? So what you think happened? I ended up doing my first upload and all of that. Ended up doing videos to defend the girl. I guess she was. I guess I could, looking back on it, damn. I guess I could kind of say that Mellows is part of the reason to an extent I started doing uploads. Like in a sense. So I would go in the girl chat, let her know, yo, I see how these folks is doing you. Make me a mod. Let me help get some of these people out there chat with her, right? And she had other people who were like, trying to come to her. Uh, I don't know if you want to use the word rescue, but it was brutal. I ain't gonna lie, you know. But me trying to look out for her because I would know about the situation if it had not been for my sister Sakeena. So that move was strictly based on the rapport I had with Sakeena. You know what I mean? It's like, hold up, y'all can't be trying to cyberbully grown ass folks. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't, even though today, looking back on situations like that, I learned you got to mind your business in certain situations. Make sure you do your research, right? But I'm new to this. I'm not understanding fully how this works out like that. And I'm sure a lot of people have been in that same spot. It was the first time I witnessed for. It was the first time I witnessed a real cyberbullying situation. This big old woman, like I'm crazy. Type of person I was, if I felt urged to assist, like this type of thing, like come on, I ain't got no business going on here. Again, I was fairly new, so I'm like, I was still learning that it was actually the norm. What I'm seeing for the first time was actually the norm on here, right? And I see that they're kind of strict on the cyberbullying thing today, but back then at that time, it was a lot more ruthless. It was a lot more ruthless, for sure, for sure. Man, one thing led to another, and that thing led to another thing, and then a few more things, and it ended up being me and my sister Sakeena practically inheriting a beef we didn't create, right? From someone we felt sorry for, right? That, mind you, we knew nothing about other than folks is coming at this girl, trying to stand up against bullies and ish. They came at us and literally targeted us for trying to be stand up for the damn girl, which we should have expected, right? It was crazy. It was next level. Like they ended up trying to run our ass off the internet, right? Which I wasn't having it. Which I wasn't having it. I don't care how new it was. Never that. Like we're talking about two. Let me paint the picture. We're talking about two of the nastiest, ruthless types of females that I ever seen, ever heard, came across, specifically on the internet. And they basically led a whole chat of women that had the same attitude. And they only had like one dude in the group. And this big old fat funky simp ass sucker who couldn't stand me, he swore he knew MMA and all of this. But yeah, we went back and forth with these people. It was like a slow burn situation. They did something towards us, vice versa. Except they was more vicious with their intentions, right? Our approach was to basically like roast the hell out their ass. I was lighting them up. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have a vicious bone in my body like that, right? The more we made a fool out of them, the madder they got. They couldn't stand how it was just two of us and all of them. And they couldn't get our ass off the internet. It was never gonna happen like that, right? But they couldn't peep the spoiler alert. So ended up what? Doxing me and her. Actually, I think they used Google Map as one of the tools to dox. I feel like one of them low key had a job that assisted them in finding me. Cause one of my videos I did at this time, I had the camera on. I'm outside walking around by where I lived at, and I was lighting their ass up. Look at that in the camera. I wasn't even thinking about the possibility of them doxing, right? That's fresh to me at this time, bro. But I was roasting they dumb ass, and I think they spotted like a sign. And I want to say they spotted like a sign with a street name or something like that. And they typed it in, and one thing led to another. They found my address. That way, mixed with them being a little more creative. I still don't know specifically to this day, but people got their ways, which is whack. Because if you're going to find somebody's address, even to the people who do it now, if you're not going to go to that person's house, if you're not going to pull up, then really to the person who had their address doxed, don't feel bad, because that makes them the sucker. They really found out where you was and they ain't trying to do nothing. Not that I'm telling somebody to go do something, but I'm just saying that really make you look weak as hell, right? But after that, these suckers went live, man. They put my address in the chat for everybody to see. Plus, they made a prank call. They made a prank call on live pretending to be me. They was live while they called someone pretending to be me. And this is how I found out they actually doxed me. They was calling some random ass person using my full name. I turned to them. I hear them on the phone saying, saying basically like, "Hi, my name is," my whole name. I'm like, look at this shit right here. Look at this shit. They was telling the person their name is my name, saying some dumb ish, I guess trying to get me in trouble with the folks they was pranking. Probably was betting on them trying to track me down or something, right? Trying to cause some type of domino effect of a situation. It's like, we gonna fix this ass right now. We ain't got to worry about him. Let these people get his ass, right? He playing on people's phone, like that type of thing. I think the point they was really trying to make, I guess they was saying like, we found you. Like, we found you, fool. We found you. I was like, wow. So that's how they do it on here. That's how they do it on here. It ain't stopped there. They started sending police to folks' house. First, they waited for my sister Sakeena to go live. And while she was live, the police knocked on her door. She's like, yo, who is that? She go open it, boom. It's the cops talking about. I think they said they got a call. She was smoking crack around her kids. If I'm not mistaken. If I'm not tripping. All of that while she's live, right? Crazy. And they did it to her twice, I want to say. And then for me, I'm sitting home chilling. It was like, I want to say it's like around 8 or 7 maybe. And I just happened to see some lights in my front yard. And I thought, I'm like, I know we ain't got no aliens over here. Like, I'm talking about some bright ass lights. As dark as it was, I ain't know what the hell was going on. I look out the window. By the time I get to the window, boom, there's a knock on the door. I open it. And it was, take a guess, you already know. It was the police. Like, I'm thinking, so they asked me if somebody was fighting or something like that. I'm like, nah, ain't nobody. I said, hell no. I want to say they came twice for me too. A long time ago. I can't remember. I believe it was twice. But I tell them just to I'm like, just to let y'all know, this a weird ass, loon ass broad who's called y'all and sent y'all here. They just looked at me like I was a whole nut my damn self for saying it. You heard? And also told them if you get any more of these sort of calls, I'm just letting y'all know it's a chick from down south. I think they took note of that though. Because cops do get tired of being called a certain amount of times. They get fed up with that. So I'm just letting y'all know, ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm like, maybe they'll look into it themselves if I tell them, listen, you better take a look at that person. Like the last attempt they tried was faking to be a whole court sending us summons papers. And I spoke on this part before, saying we had to come all the way down there. We took them joints serious at first because, I ain't know nothing about courts and all of that stuff like that. Like, I don't play with the whole legal and all of that. It was saying how we did something to her when we really didn't. Like, we came a certain amount of, uh, like, we got close to where she was at. It was some crazy shit, bro. Like, um, so me and Sakeena, we discussed it over the phone. And we was like, yo, this gotta be a goddamn joke right here. You know, after the bull ish, this broad done did sending police to folks' crib, perpetrating a straight up fraud, like using the law to get the upper hand and a YouTube beef, bruh. That ass, I believe, could have been charged for that alone. I don't know the specifics of the law when it comes to these internet things, but see, the thing about that is me and sis, we from the hood, so we didn't believe in actually going to the law ourselves, right? Especially for some bullshit like this. To this day, I feel like it was really a setup, because we found out that the summons and all that was fake. So it's like, okay, so why was I trying to get us to come down there? When I look back at it, I'm like, okay, I think they were trying to get us down there to set us up. They were trying to do something physical. They were trying to cause like some physical harm to somebody, whatever. I think that's what it was. Wes, what up, bro? Appreciate you. You already. Yeah, but I feel like that's what it was. Now, the dude on their side that supported them, I think he played a part in the doxing, our whole address thing. That's what I feel like. And I had challenged this bust ass sucker to a meetup for a fade and everything, but he wasn't trying to do all that. I gave homie the opportunity since he called himself hating somebody. He knew MMA and all of that. And he was just mad because I had his big ass on the big screen, right? It's real wild. Like somebody who claimed to know this dude reached out and said they went to school with him. And they sent me pictures of him in school. I'm like, I don't know if this is him or not, but these folks gonna leave me the hell alone. So if I gotta play dirty for y'all to see I ain't playing with y'all, I'm gonna play with y'all. I assumed it was him because when I put the picture up, the channel was gone. The channel was gone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I blasted his ass, because I was just sick of, he kept on with the bullshit. So he ended up striking my channel, had it taken down. It's so nutty because like they was purposely looking us up. There were multiple people who couldn't stand them. that wanted to see them get theirs. People who had run-ins with them. And they would send us info through email. You know, we didn't even know how accurate the info was, but based off of that right there, it's like, okay, so maybe this other stuff might have some truth to it. But nobody wasn't even trying to be, you know what I mean? Nobody was really trying to be doing all of that. But we kept it in the tuck. We just kept the information in the tuck. Like, we'll see how far they go with it. Right? I'm the type of person, I'm gonna hold my hand until you know what I'm saying, until you show all your cards and then bam, like that. But we had them looking crazy. I ain't gonna lie. We had them looking stupid. Like, we really didn't need it, to be honest with you, because we had them looking so dumb. Like, showed people like, y'all worried about them, like y'all scared of these people, you know. Um, we didn't even have to play dirty like them. They tried running us off the internet, and our whole thing was to show them you don't run nobody, you're crazy. Like, they couldn't handle that though. Now that's what you call the mentality of a bully that tries to get somebody to do what they want. They don't do it, so they get madder. Like the audacity, right? And it was a group of them, it was just me and my sis verbally whipping that ass, man. Straight belt the ass. They wasn't used to it. These chumps had folks scared to death of them. Like, some had stopped even coming on the app because of them, right? It just so happens they tried the wrong ones in this situation. What ended up happening was they split up because the heat was too high. One of the girls who was the head of the group out of the two, ended up changing her picture, erased her videos, her whole catalog of videos of her going at people. She erased it and dipped off into, I want to say, like another part of YouTube, basically. I want to say somebody said she went to this place called the mommy sector. You know, there's so many different sectors and things like that. I don't know. The other ones eventually stopped coming on and slowly vanished into thin air. There was nothing they could do with us. We showed them that, right? They had never dealt with anybody that was giving them that much of a hard time, and all we was doing was reacting to what they were doing towards us. You know what I mean? But here's the worst part, even worse than all of that. The worst part about that whole situation was that the chick me and my sis was defending to even get wrapped up in the situation in the first place. We found out exactly why old girl, you know, was being attacked the way she was. Turned out she really was a scammer. She was a scammer. So imagine how we felt when we found out the truth of that, right? That's why I say, life lesson, you got to mind your business and make sure you do your research sometimes. But I will say this, though. You took the situation for face value, true. Didn't do enough research, true. But I still feel like they wasn't coming at her for that. I really, truly, and honestly think it was just an excuse for them. I think they milked this. I think they milked the reason just to cause destruction in somebody else's life. They did all type of shit to that girl, right? Um, they wasn't the righteous type. It wasn't even their style to stand up for what's right and all of that hell, though. You know, um, it wasn't even their style to stand up for what's right. Example of that is when my sister did a video one day, and she was like, "Is y'all serious?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm watching. What happened was, because again, Sakeena, my sis, she was a dialysis patient once again, right? She was on dialysis, right? So these fools, man, they found out what place she went to for her dialysis treatment, and they called to do a prank there while this woman was doing her treatments, while all these other people doing their treatments, and while you got these nurses and employees who are tending to these people who are having their treatments done. A dialysis center, bro. Ruthless, ruthless. I couldn't understand how a person could wake up comfortable enough to look in the mirror after taking it that far. I understand now that some people just enjoy watching the world and everything around them burn. That's just the only pleasure and entertainment they get. You know, like that's the whole thing that situation taught me, and it lasted for what, about a year and a half, 2 years, was it? You know, but I touched on this story before, but I just added some parts that I might not have spoke on. But end of the day, that's just me reminiscing about like my time knowing sis. Like there's no way I could have left that whole story out, honestly. We went through that predicament together, and a genuine respect was built from that, from us going through it together. Two people who, didn't know each other like that, but built a respect and a rapport because they both went through the same situation. It's crazy how that could happen, right? Other than all that, sis always kept it authentic, man. Like, what can I say? Like, no matter the case, she never fronted on me, never, she always kept the same energy with me at all times, never changed up that I can remember. She taught me that, and even right now, looking back, is a reminder that you can have genuine rapports over the net, even without meeting folk in the physical. Because I never really thought that at one point in time, I can make an argument for both, really. Like, I know why folks say it's impossible to have friends online. I get it. From apps like these, I seen nasty fallouts and folks part ways because it didn't end how it started, right? I had my own experiences in that department. But then again, I understand why some would say yes, you can. Is it rare? Is it? I guess it just depends on who you ask for real. And, she definitely was one of the first people I built a actual rapport with, like online, like on this entire app. When she slowed up on coming to the app, even it wasn't even the same no more. Next thing you know, certain people started leaving or whatever. Only thing that kept me on here was that I was into, you know, the battle rap thing. If it had not been for that, it probably wouldn't have been on here. It wasn't the same though. Like she would pop up every blue every once in a while. You know, unfortunate that her husband ended up passing at a point. He was sick. This is when COVID was going around here crazy, and people were dying from it. YouTube don't strike me. I remember you couldn't even say the words COVID at one point in time. That would be it. That you'd be done. You couldn't even say it. But her husband was sick in the hospital. He ended up passing. So that prompted her to move from New York to Charlotte, where her brother was, in the South. Like thinking about it now, I guess looking at it now, it would make sense. Like maybe reason being that she had a plan set that if something ever happened to her sons, and her daughter would have family to be with. Right? It's crazy, man. Like imagine losing your parents only a few years apart like that. I feel bad for anybody who ever had to deal with that. And you're still a kid at that. That's crazy. She did have a daughter that was in college. I remember she was always talked about how proud she was about that. You know, utmost prayers to them. Damn, like she literally passed like right before the New Year and right after Christmas. But hopefully was able to have, you know, a dope Christmas with her family before it happened. You know what I'm saying? I do feel for her family. It just seemed like the holidays, this is why I be telling people, the holidays are the exact opposite for some people, because from my experience, it seemed like that's the time where some of the most messed up things happen. That's my experience. It's not like that for everybody, but the worst thing is not to see someone for a while. Then the next thing you hear is that they pass. Like, that shit sucks. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. Um, One thing about her, she let it be known about her health from the jump, from day one to everybody, you know. But if you didn't know about it, you wouldn't even be able to tell because she lived life, to the fullest. Like that's another thing I learned from her. She was an inspiration in that regard in a few ways, honestly. Even now, man, like, I wanted to share that one story so folk understand why she really was, why I call her sis, why she, just how we even came together and all of that. I don't think if I would have came across her channel on here, I don't think I ever would have been inspired to actually do YouTube at all. I never gave it any thought at that time. I swear if I ain't come across her channel that one day, it would not be no realist on there. I doubt it. I really doubt it. At that time, I ain't even considered doing no YouTube. I wasn't trying to be no entertaining personality, blogger, or none of that. You know? End of the day, she was just an advocate for, being yourself to the fullest. Like, in front of the camera, every video, she was hard to break, like on all levels, you know. Like I watched her go do some shit on this app. I ain't gonna lie. She even said it. She even it was like a signature saying she had. She would look the camera dead in the eye and say, "Y'all can't break me." She would say that a lot. You know, she was like, I done been called every name you could think of. Like, been through way worse than this app, right? Really, that is the worst a person could do is talk about you when you think about it. If a person ain't trying to put their hands on you, you know, if they ain't trying to like actually get into a physical altercation with you, all they're gonna do is talk. And as long as a person knows how to control their emotions and not let their emotions drive them to react, then I mean, what did that person do? Like what did they accomplish then? She had mad trolls that called themselves trying to clown her. Um, But she never let it get to her. She still sat in front of that camera every time it popped her ish. If she ever did let it get to her, she sure didn't show me that. She had a drawn out situation with a YouTuber on here that used to be popular. Her name was, I remember her, Tiffany Draper. I don't know if anybody ever heard that name before, but she was a popular YouTuber. They went at it a few years ago, and then Tiffany actually ended up passing. And when my sis found out she did pass, she came on here and wanted to be the bigger person. She apologized for the part she played in the beef they had because they had been at it for like at least a year and a half or whatever. She apologized, for her part. She was like, if I could take it back, I would, but I can't. That's all you can do. A lot of that making a lot of people feel bad when you didn't clear the air with somebody. If something happens and it's like now you don't get to. You know what I mean? That's like the number one thing about when people pass away and stuff like that. But she wasn't no pushover. She wasn't no sucker. Like she had remorse and didn't mind apologizing if she was genuinely wrong. And how many folks can say that much? How many people can say that much? Honestly, like I know some people who didn't just. I know some people who didn't just cross the lines, but they cartwheeled over that thing. Right? And to this day, never. I know people who never took accountability for doing some of the wackest stuff. Some people just don't got it in them to apologize about things. I know people like that. Did just straight up shady business and just know they wrong. They'll talk about everything else, but they won't apologize for the wrong that they did. Right? There's people like that that exist. That's a real thing. It's people who ain't never actually said the words "I'm sorry, my bad, I apologize." That type of bottling up and attitude will eat you up, like mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all that. Like it's more about the release of it for the sake of for the sake of self. Like it's about moving on to be at peace with yourself, peace of mind. Like for me, ain't nothing more relevant than peace of mind right now. Like in the world today, what? Anyway, besides that, like major condolences to her kids, her sons, her daughter, her brother, family and friends and all that. I didn't know her as well as them, but I knew her enough for it to be mandatory that I take time to do this and just say, you know, rest easy. Like you never know who you're gonna come across on this internet that could make some sort of impression in your life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just it was mandatory to take time to do this at the very least. Like that's my year. That was my year one homie. Like for real, definitely the sis. Like left a reminder and dope memories of what she represented and what she stood for. Anybody that don't know her, that's like, who's this woman he talking about? You know, I'll probably just like leave the link to her channel in the description or whatever for curiosity purposes, or for people who I think there's people on here from that time that are still like hanging around. You know what I'm saying? But did definitely rest easy to her, man. Rest in peace for real. Peace, love, blessings, positivity. You gotta appreciate every tick on that watch, man. I'm telling you, like while it's still appreciate every tick while it's still ticking. Don't let that go over your head. Like I left the link to the memorial page in case the folks who did remember want to leave like a little remembrance message or whatever the case. Like not everybody knew her, but some people knew her. You know what I mean? A lot of people just left the app alone completely, which I understand why. You know what I'm saying? With that old head, what up, old head? Appreciate you. But and again, man, like rest easy, man. Like rest easy to Sakeena Jones. You know what I mean? Like biggest prayers to her fam. Should y'all ever come across this, which I doubt. I doubt it, but I ain't know her like y'all, but I knew her enough. I know she gonna be missed. That's a fact. That's a fact. You know. This was the least I could have done. This is the only thing I could do, really. You know what I mean? But that's basically it. I did something I wanted to do. Since I met her on the internet, since I met her on the app, why shouldn't I take time to do that? You know? But yeah, like I say, man, blessed New Year's to y'all, man. Like I always tell y'all, appreciate every day, every second. Like a simple wake up in the morning. A lot of people take that for granted. No, that's another day you get to live. That's another opportunity at life. Don't take that for granted. Make the most out of that, whatever it is you want to do. Make yourself happy. Don't do nothing that's not gonna make you happy, right? On the real, the real. But I appreciate y'all for listening to me and all of that. Shout out to the Bushes and all that. Respectfully, hit the like if you choose to. That's another thing, Sidebar, like, folks really don't like hitting that like button, bruh. I ain't just talking about me neither. I'm talking about just in general. You watch other content creators, they be having some of the dopest content, fam. And folks be watching. It could have been like, how you get 50, 100, 200 views, but then you get like 11 likes. That's crazy. That's crazy as hell. That's wild. Because if it's that big of a deal to tap that like button, that means you shouldn't be watching that person. You know what I mean? Some people forget. Some people be knowing what they be doing. I think it's corny personally. If you're somebody that you've been watching, because besides a donation, the like button is the next best thing. It takes a quick. That's it. That's it. But shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for listening. You know what I'm saying? Um, Hopefully, the blessings that y'all are looking for in this new year are coming to fruition. You know what I'm saying? And R.I.P. to anybody who's lost anybody before the New Year's and after, right? But I'm out, man. Peace, blessings, positivity, all that. I really just want them out.